Hello everyone. So this is going to be a core, balanced, and loading exploration practice today. So when I say loading, we're going to use the blocks, but if you have foam blocks, they might be too light. So for me, I just grabbed one of my little weights. Actually, I grabbed both of them just in case. But you might want a water bottle or maybe 2 water bottles to play with or anything else. Soup cans, those work great. You don't need a blanket, I just have one here. So really all you need are blocks if you have the cork ones, and maybe a little extra weight if you want it. All right. So we're actually gonna start in child's pose today. So come down, knees wide, big toes touch. Let your arms extend forward. Long, deep inhale. Extra long exhale. And so now, maybe think of things that you need to draw upon in life. And on your next inhale, pick it up. And then you might think about things that you don't really need that aren't necessarily serving you anymore. And on your exhale, put them down. And you can use your mind's eye, you can focus on the breathing, right? Or you can actually feel the breath moving in and out if you're not one of those people that like to do visualizations. But if you are, think of the things that you need on your inhale. And think of the things that you can set down on your exhale. Sway. You like your toes tucked?
Yeah, they were cramping.
All right. So from your child's pose, we'll activate some of the shoulders and stretch. It's kind of like appendiculation, but just for the upper body. Grab the edges of your mat. Let your arms go all the way straight. And now with your strong hands, try to pull the mat apart. So you can feel all the lats engage and the muscles around the shoulders. And now see if you can, without moving your body, lift your shoulders higher and push the mat forward. And now you're still trying to pull it apart and push forward together in your child's pose. And then release. And we'll do that one more time. So again, push and pull. So you're pushing through the mat and you're also pulling it apart. And then release. And now come up to all fours, hands and knees. From your all fours position, simply sway from side to side. Feel the weight shift. And now do the same thing, but with your knees hovering. Little sway from side to side. Notice your low belly lifting, tailbone lengthening towards the wall behind you. And bring both knees back down to the floor. Extend your right leg straight back behind you. This is bird dog. And now instead of doing a traditional bird dog where your leg and your hip and your shoulder and everything is all in alignment, can you lift higher? So your chest lifts and it's more of like a cow pose. And now exhale, round knee to chest, push into your hand, push into your shin bone, and do a cat pose. And we'll do that 3 more times. Inhale, lift higher than you normally do. And then exhale. 2 more. And last one. Good release. Hover your knees and sway side to side. Lower the knees down. Opposite leg, opposite arm. Extend. Lift it higher than you're used to. And exhale, round, push into your shin bone, push into your opposite hand. Inhale, re-extend. Lift higher than usual. And exhale. Just 2 more. Last one. Moving with your breath. Good, then release. Sit back on your heels. Just shake out your hands. Maybe a couple of wrist rotations, side to side. And you're gonna grab your blocks. You'll set them underneath your triceps. So if you're gonna lay in between them, and they're gonna be angled like this. So the blocks are angled in. You're laying in between them with your triceps resting on the blocks and your feet flat on the floor. So now lift your head, look down towards your navel or your pelvis, and now push into the triceps and lift your chest off the ground. Your butt stays down. Squeeze and hold. Tuck your chin to your chest, gaze down. 3, 2, and 1. Keep your arms where they are, and now lift your pelvis for bridge pose. Hold here. Press into your heels. Use your glutes and bridge. And then lower back down. And we'll do the same thing again. Press your triceps into the blocks. Tuck your chin to your chest before you lift, and now lift your upper back off the floor. Your sit bones are still down. 3, 2, 1. Lower all the way down, head relaxes. Lift your pelvis up. Bridge. Setu Bandha Shavasana. We'll do that one more time. If you feel like, tuck your chin, press into your triceps, lift your upper back. If you want to try lifting your lower back off the floor as well, it's a lot harder, right? It's a load change. 3, 2, 1. Release down. Pelvis lifts, bridge pose. This time, take your arms up and overhead. Hook your thumbs and try to pull them apart in your bridge pose. And exhale, lower all the way down. I'm staying up front with you guys just so that anybody's confused, they can see a little bit better, hopefully. All right, so we're gonna start with a little bit of abdominal work. Hug your knees into your chest as close as you can. Take your hands behind the occiput of your skull. You can take a few breaths here just to stretch your shoulders, get a little comfortable in this ball position. Take one more inhale. And as you exhale, curl up. All right, and now extend your right leg and see if you can bring both your nose and your knee towards each other. Curl up and tuck. Hold 3, 2, 1. Stay tucked. Bring your leg forward at a 45-degree angle. Hold here, squeeze, curl, and lift. Tuck. And now one more time, extend your leg to hover off the floor. Squeeze and lift, both tailbone and upper back. 3, 2, 1, and bring your knees back together. Rest with your hands behind your head and elbows wide. Nice full inhale. Nice long exhale. One more time, big inhale. Exhale and curl up. Both head and low back. Extend your left leg and see if you can tuck both sides of your spine towards each other by taking your nose towards your knee and your knee towards your nose. Good, and hold here, squeeze. 3, 2, 1. Extend your leg at 45 degrees. Curl both sides of your pelvis and your chest forward. 3, 2, 1. And now hover. Curl, tailbone up, head up. 3, 2, 1. And hug your knees into your chest. Rock a little from side to side. Keep your hands down on the floor. I feel like those are very effective. Huh? Very effective?
Yes. Yeah, very effective.
All right, let's do one more set. So, right leg will go first. Curl up in your tuck. Extend your right leg. See if you can get it close to your face. 3, 2, 1. Now your leg goes out at 45 degrees. Curl up again and crunch. 3, 2, 1. And then your leg hovers. Curl. 3, 2, 1. And bring it all the way back in. Nice full inhale. Nice long exhale. Take another breath. Curl up on your exhale. This time left leg extends as close as you can towards your face. Curl and tuck. 3, 2, 1. Leg out 45 degrees. 3, curl. 2, lift higher. 1. And now last time, hover your leg off the floor. Curl. 3, 2, 1. And bring your knees into your chest and rock side to side. Oh, I'm pretty warm. Then from here, we'll rock and roll and come all the way up to a forward fold at the front of your mat. All right. Forward fold, nice stretchiness. Feel free to let your head go. You might look towards the wall behind you. So one last piece of our warm-up. On your next inhale, sweep your arms to the sky, Urdhva Hastasana. And on your exhale, bend your elbows, stretch your chest, reach towards the wall behind you, maybe bringing your hands back to your heart center. So we're gonna do some curtsy squat, dancing Krishna, and warrior fours. So all the way to the back of the mat. So we'll start right at the front of the mat, come into chair pose. Pick up your right foot and set it on the opposite side behind you, curtsy squat. Keep your legs where they are, come all the way up, let your left hand, so your right foot is behind you, let your left hand grab your right wrist and crescent into dancing Krishna. And now from here, switch. You'll float your right leg off to the side and crescent over towards your leg. Now lower and lift your right leg. 3, 2, on 1, step back to your curtsy squat, and then we'll switch legs. So only come up partway, and shift your weight to the back leg to rotate your other leg around. Curtsy squat. Ha-ha. Come all the way up, dancing Krishna. Right knee is bent, left leg is straight, and it's behind you on the opposite side. Then you'll float your left leg out to the side, crescent towards your floating leg. Lower and lift. 3. How high can you get? 2. And 1. Come back into your curtsy squat, hands to heart. Shift your weight to your back leg and step the other leg behind. Curtsy squats. Back to dancing Krishna. And then over to your warrior 4. Lower and lift your leg. 3, 2, 1. Back to your curtsy squat, hands to heart. And then you'll shift your weight back into your right leg. Whoop, and step back to your curtsy squat. Last one. Dancing Krishna, warrior 4. Lower and lift. 3, 2, 1. Back to your curtsy. And then all the way up to standing, both feet together. Take a nice full inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Let your hands clasp or cup the calf tissue and bow a little bit deeper. Bow a little deeper than usual. So we're gonna do press walks back up to the front of your mat. They are very, very challenging. So if you need to do a little hop instead of a press, you're welcome to. If you've never, ever done it before, you can watch up here for a moment. So forward fold. Yes, you have to have enough hamstring flexibility for these, for your hands to go all the way flat to the floor with a little bit of a bend, maybe. And if this doesn't work, remember, you can always do these. They're a baby step towards the press walks. Otherwise, it looks like this. Your hands come forward, your hands go flat, you come up higher and tippy toes, push, float your feet to meet your wrists. Hands go forward, tippy toes, push, and feet meet your wrist. Can we get that? So see if you can do that all the way back up to the front of your mat. Remember, if that is like, oh my God, that feels impossible, I know. I remember what it felt like when I was learning to do that. Just do some hops. It's better to try, right? And then you only have to do it once. Nice, all the way to forward fold at the front of your mat. Once you get there, inhale both arms to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart. Rise to stand, Urdhva Hastasana. Reach. Exhale to forward fold. Hands flat, step back, plank pose. Take a nice full inhale, slow lower to the floor. Any version of a back extension that you love. It could be Shalamasana, it could be a cobra, it could be a sphinx pose, but just find maybe 1 or 2 of your favorite spinal extensions. And come on back down. Slide your hands next to your ribcage, tuck your toes. Slow press to plank. And back to downward facing dog. First down dog of the day. Feel free to bend one knee and then the other. Maybe you gaze under one tricep. Maybe you let your head go and tuck your chin to your chest. Maybe you shake your head yes and no. On your next inhale, shift forward to plank pose. So remember the sways we did on all fours? We're gonna do those again in different ways. So now sway side to side. It's a really great way to warm up the shoulders if you're gonna do handstanding, is holding planks like this with a little bit of sway. Gets a couple more of the muscle groups to fire. And now hold your plank, but step your feet as wide as your mat. Shift your weight into your right hand, reach your left arm forward. And now exhale, sweep back to one arm down dog, reach your left arm back towards the wall behind you. We'll do this a few more times. Inhale, and exhale. So remember, we normally do this with both arms, so now we're asking our load to change. Instead of distributing our body weight onto both arms, we're only distributing it onto one. Now come back, open up side plank. Take your top arm over your ear, lift your hips high, and now pick up your left foot and step forward to warrior one. Virabhadrasana one. Nice big inhale. On your exhale, come to Ardha Virabhadrasana one. And now we're going to transition to warrior three, but try not to launch off of your back leg. Instead, drag from the strength of your left hamstring to warrior three. Good, and now very slowly bend into your left leg, step back, half warrior. We're going to do that 2 more times. Pull from your hamstring on your left leg to go to warrior three. Your arms can do anything they want to do. If you want to keep them forward, it's hard. Bring your hands to your heart if it feels a little bit easier for you. Step back, warrior one. Half warrior one, sorry. One more time, we'll go to warrior three. And now a half moon. Open your arms to the sides. If you need a block, grab one. Otherwise, play with different arm positions in your warrior or in your half moon. Maybe you bring your hands to your heart. Maybe you extend one arm forward. Maybe you extend your other arm up and over your ear. But notice that the loading changes, and so your body's balance has to change as well. One more breath. Gracefully step back to Virabhadrasana 2, warrior 2. So from Virabhadrasana 2, we'll spin to a goddess pose. So spin your back heel in, your toes come in on the front leg, and come to goddess. Sink as low as you can, and then go to warrior 2 to the back of your mat. Spin on your heels, warrior 2. And then we'll come back again, goddess. So spin your heels in the ball of your foot, as low as you can, back to warrior 2. Warrior 2 to the back. One more time each side. Back to the front. Back to your goddess. Back to the warrior 2. Warrior 2 to the front of your mat. Pause and hold. Yes. Half moon will be next. So take a nice full inhale. Exhale, tip forward, and see if again, instead of pushing off of your back foot, you can pull from the hamstring of the front foot. Bring your hands to your heart. Twisted chair, your right foot meets your left, your right elbow crescents outside your thigh. We'll do this 3 times. Back to half moon. If you can, see if you can pick up your foot and open while your arms open. That's the hardest one. And then hands come back in, feet plant, twisted chair. One more time. Woo, as I fall over. Back to the twisted chair. Deep twist. Now hook your right elbow on the inside of your right knee and extend the left leg back. And now open up to half moon on the other side. Take your right hand, touch the floor, and then come back up to half moon. That's where it gets wobbly. Try that 2 more times. Lower down, touch the floor, and come back up. One more. You're gonna feel this in your obliques, but you'll also feel it in your hamstring. All right, let's make it one more time. We'll make it 4 total. And forward fold, bring both feet together. Nice, balancing.
Thank you.
Inhale, lengthen, halfway lift. Exhale to bow. Bend your knees and come all the way down onto your seat. And then roll all the way onto your back. Now, you want to grab the top 2 edges with your hands. So remember when we grabbed onto the mat in child's pose and we pushed forward and we were pulling it apart? We're gonna do the same thing but on our back. And if you can grab the corners, it's a little more comfortable for your hands. So what you might do is grab the corners of your mat and then scoochy scoot down the mat a little bit so your arms can go all the way to straight. You got it. And now we're activating the shoulders as we're activating abdominals and hip flexors. So now take both legs to the sky, push your mat forward towards the back wall and apart, try to pull it apart. Now take your right leg down and then back up. And then take your left leg down and then back up. And then keep going. Exhale to lower, inhale to lift. Exhale to lower, and inhale to lift. So remember, the eccentric is the muscle fibers are lengthening. It's a better way to create the strength that we need. The concentric actually doesn't give us as much strength. So far we know in science. How are you doing?
Doing great.
Good. Pull the mat apart and again push. We don't want to disconnect from our shoulders. Almost 3 more. 3. Nice job. 2. And last one. Hug your knees into your chest. Rock a little side to side. And then we'll roll forward and back. Option here is to come to forward fold and then step back to add a traditional vinyasa. Or you're welcome to rock and roll. Come up to a squat, add a crow pose, jump back, add your chaturanga, up dog, down dog. But we'll all meet back in downward facing dog in the next 4 breaths. Inhale, shift forward, plank pose. Exhale, sway side to side. This one's easy, but the next time we come to this, it's not going to be quite so easy. So we're going to do it in Chaturanga Dandasana. All right, so here, take your feet as wide as the mat. Extend your right arm forward. Exhale, one arm downward facing dog, reaching your left or right hand back up towards the wall behind you. Inhale, reach forward, sweep your arms forward. Exhale and sweep back. Good, one more full cycle. And then next time you come forward into the plank, side plank. You'll just let your heels drop to the floor, take your top arm over your ear, nice big stretch, and now pick up your right foot and softly step it all the way to the front of your mat. Spin your back heel down for Virabhadrasana 1. On your exhale, Ardha Virabhadrasana 1. And now pull from your right hamstring to float to Virabhadrasana 3. 3 times, graceful step back, half warrior 1. We never actually come all the way up. Then pull from your back front leg to go to transition, warrior 3. 1 more time, full cycle. Then from your warrior 3, half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. Ha-ha. And now if you can, try playing again with your arm movements. And if you fall over, it is totally fine. Good, find solidity, and then gracefully step back to warrior 2. Goddess pose. Spin on your heels, come into your spot. And then to the warrior 2 to the back. Spin on your heels, goddess, low, and back to warrior 2. Just 1 more time on each side. Low squat. And back to warrior 2 to the front after you do your last goddess pose. Nice big breath. Transitioning to half moon. I like to tip forward first and then pull from the right. Twisted chair. Bring your hands to your heart. Step your feet together. Left elbow outside right knee. Twist and enjoy. And then float your foot. See if as you unravel your twist, you can open your arms at the same time. And then bring it back in. Twisted chair. And back to your half moon. Last one. Now as we come to our last twisted chair, hook your left elbow on your inner left thigh. Extend your right leg back. Just for a blip. And then that might help you stabilize to come to half moon. Tap your left fingers to the floor and come back up. Tipping bird, half moons. Let's just do 4. Find a little spot on the floor that helps you keep your balance. Whoop. And then then both feet together, forward fold. Let your head go. Bend your knees and come all the way down onto your seat. For those of you who know Kate Stafford, this is one of her specials. Take both legs up, interlace your fingers, pointer finger up, and now curl up and over to the right. Drop your left leg down, and then bring it back up. 10, 9, 8. If you can, get your shoulder blades off the floor. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hug your knees into your chest, rock a little from side to side. One big breath, inhale. One forceful breath, exhale. Let's do it again. Both legs up. This time you're curling off to the left. Right leg goes down and up for 10. Shoulder blades off the floor. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Knees to chest, rock side to side. And again, here we go to our vinyasa. You're welcome to rock and roll. Maybe cross your legs, jump back chaturanga. You're welcome to rock up forward fold, step back, maybe skip the vinyasa and go to down dog. You're also welcome to add a crow pose, bakasana or kakasana, to jump back to your chaturanga. Do whatever feels best for your body today. And we'll all meet back in down dog in the next 2 cycles of breath. So we're gonna go through this flow again, but now we're gonna add one block to notice how one block changes the whole load profile and the balancing that we'll have. So if you don't have a cork block, remember you can add a water bottle, you could add little hand weights, which is what I'll be using. All right, here we go. Make sure that your props are nearby, or at least one is nearby. From your downward facing dog, inhale forward to your plank pose. Bend your elbows chaturanga and now sway side to side. Keep holding. 3, 2, and 1. Come back up to your plank pose. Grab your prop in your left hand. Shift back to 3-legged, or step your feet wide so it feels stable when you come forward to plank pose. And now from your one arm down dog, reach forward, one arm plank. And back. 3 times. Just notice the difference. Last one. Now as you come forward to your plank, side plank. Take your top arm over your ear, lift your hips high. Pick up your left foot and softly step forward. Warrior 1 with your weight. Now your block or your weight can go to your chest. If you want to make it harder, arms overhead. Take a nice big inhale. Ardha Virabhadrasana 1. Drag to Warrior 3. Soft step back to half Warrior 1. And back to Warrior 3. One more time. Warrior 3, pause. I recommend you take the weight in the bottom hand, open to half moon. Now this is the fun part. Maybe you play with taking your arm forward, the bottom one, and then back down. Maybe you pass the block, as I fall over, into your other hand. Maybe you take that up overhead and then bring it back down. Just a little bit of hand movement. And step back to Warrior 2 with your block at your heart. Inhale, straighten through your front leg. Exhale, dive back into your Warrior 2, holding here. Straighten through your front leg one more time. Trikonasana, triangle pose. You're welcome to hover your block off the floor. You're welcome to use your block or your weight. You're also welcome to take it in the top hand and maybe hover to work more on your core muscles. The harder one is taking the arms overhead. These are all different options. Maybe you pass it around. Come back to Warrior 2 with your block in your left hand. You might heel toe your right foot closer. We're going back to our half moon. Da-da-da-da. And then to chair pose. Bring your feet together. With your weight in your hands, twisted chair. How does that feel with an extra load? And then come back out. You're welcome to open your arms in half moon, or you're welcome to bring your hands and keep them on the weight. Step back down, twisted. And then here we go again, one last time. And then back to your twisted chair. Now hook your right elbow on your right thigh, extend your left leg back, and then open back up. Take your block or your weight in your top hand, tipping bird, tap the floor and come back up. Oh, it's so weird with the weight distribution. Just 2 more times. And bring your feet together, forward fold. Bend your knees and come all the way down onto your back. Now, you can either take whatever you have and place it at your inner thighs, or you're also to place it at your ankles so that you still have one weight with you. You choose. Keep the weight, bend your knees, let your arms go off to the sides to help stabilize. Keep both shoulders grounded as you drop your knees to the left. Inhale back up to center. Drop your knees to the right. And inhale back to center. Exhale. And inhale. And exhale. 3 more each side. You can keep going if you want to go further down on the left. Okay. On the right. Last one each side. Good, and then come back up. Set your block or your weight off to the side. And again, you'll find that rock and roll. So maybe come up, jump back, chaturanga, traditional vinyasa, or any other movement practice that feels good to insert for your body. Does not have to be traditional vinyasa. Here we go, other side. So hopefully your weight is on the right-hand side, because that's where you're gonna want it. Step your feet as wide as the mat to start. Inhale, shift forward to your plank pose. Remember your weight is off to the right. Bend your elbows, come down chaturanga, little side to side sway. 3, 2, 1. Straighten your arms, shift back, downward facing dog. Grab your weight or grab your block and your right arm, push down to the left. On your next inhale, sweep forward, plank, arm goes forward. Sweep it back, downward facing dog. Just 3 times. Now the next time you come forward to your plank, let your feet drop to the side, side plank. Pick up your right foot and see how gracefully you can step forward to warrior 1. And again, maybe your weight or your block comes to your heart center. Maybe it goes up overhead. Nice big inhale. Exhale, Ardha Virabhadrasana 1 to warrior 3. And back to Ardha Virabhadrasana 1. See if you can control the descent instead of falling. Remember, if this arm overhead position becomes too much, just bring it to your heart. Half moon, let your weight drop to the right hand. Then maybe play with passing the weight around. Noticing how your body has to adjust to the movement and the load. And then step back, warrior 2. Holding your weight, just notice how your warrior 2 feels. Any different than before? Inhale, straighten through your front leg. Exhale, dive into a deeper warrior 2. Very active back leg. Inhale, straighten again. Let the weight go in the top hand, Trikonasana. Remember, you can plant your hand if it feels good. Maybe you take your top arm over your ear. Maybe you float and move the weight around. load change. All right, we're going to go to half moon. You can place your block in whatever hand feels best, or you can bring it to your heart. Close the gap a little bit so it'll help the transition. Pull from your hamstring. Twisted chair. Bring your feet together. Hook your left elbow outside your right thigh. And back to half moon. And back to twisted chair. And back to half moon. Whew. One more time. All right, come back to twisted chair. And now hook your left elbow inside of your left knee. Extend your right leg back. And then with steadiness, take your weight or your block into your right hand. Tap your left fingers to the floor and lift back up 4 times. 3, 2, and 1. Both feet down, forward fold. Let your head go. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale to bow. Bend your knees, come all the way down onto your back. Grab your block. Place it either between your inner thighs or place it between your ankles if you want to make it more challenging. Okay, now straight legs. Oh, because you're bow-legged? Yeah. So you can also place it between your feet if your calves can't hold it. But the further away from your center the weight is, the harder it will be. So you can make it easier, harder. Straighten your legs. Take your arms off to the sides in T shape. Nice full inhale. Exhale, drop your feet off to the left. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, over to the right. And inhale to center. And you can keep going. 3 more times on each side. There's not enough space in here for us to both do it, so I'm having Steven be the demo. Ooh, is that a creak in your back?
What's that?
Last one, each side. And then bring it all back to center. Grab the block, set it off to the side, hug your knees to your chest. We get to do that flow one more time, but guess what? We get to do it with more load. So instead of having one hand weight or one block, you'll have 2. Hug your knees into your chest. Do you need some air?
That'll be good, yeah.
Okay, it is hot in here now.
Yeah.
Hug your knees into your chest. Rock forward and back. Add your own personal vinyasa. This is your time to do anything that your body needs. All right, we'll all meet back in downward facing dog. So obviously we can't have 2 weights in one hand. So you can do it with a weight or without a weight. Or if you have something heavier and you wanted to put it in your arm for this particular section of the series, you are more than welcome to. Would you like to try the 3-pound weight?
Sure.
Okay. Put one there and one there. I'll steal your blocks.
Okay.
All right, step your feet as wide as your mat. Come forward to a plank pose. Bend your elbows, little sway from side to side. Holding chaturanga, lengthen your tailbone as you sway side to side. 3, 2, 1. Come all the way back up, downward facing dog. Grab one of your blocks and place it in your left hand. Yeah, left hand. Sweep your left arm back up to the ceiling. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, sweep it back. 2 more. And last one. Full cycle. We'll come back to the side or plank pose to move into a side plank. Maybe you take your weight into a different plane. Maybe you externally rotate your arm or internally rotate it with the weight. Then pick up your left foot and gracefully step to warrior 1. Now you'll grab both. Arms can be up, hands can be your sides. You can bring your blocks together. All of these are awesome. Take a nice big inhale. Art of your Vajrasana. Transition, warrior three. Step back, art of your Vajrasana. And back. 3 times, back to your half warrior one. Last one, hold your warrior three. Half moon with both blocks. Whee! And now see if you can move your arms around with both blocks. Still keeping your balance. And if you fall out, remember, it doesn't matter. Graceful step back, warrior two. Palms up, elbows bent. Let your shoulders slide down your back. Take a nice big inhale, and as you exhale, sink deeper into Virabhadrasana 2. Inhale, straighten through your front leg. Trikonasana. Now, if you want to work more on obliques, you're welcome to keep your blocks at your heart without touching the floor. You're welcome to take your blocks overhead or anywhere in between. Because sometimes if you go to full extension, you can't breathe as well, then you know you've gone too far. From your Trikonasana, come back to warrior two. Heel toe your right foot closer and open back up, half moon. Twisted chair, bring your blocks together and twist. Right elbow outside left thigh. Back to half moon. And then back to your twisted chair. I got major wobbles today. Remember the wobbles, we like the wobbles. We learn from them. It heightens our proprioception. Is this the last one?
How many were you doing? 5?
3.
Oh, that was 3 for sure.
All right, hook your right elbow inside your right thigh. Take your left leg back. Keep the right leg bent for a moment and then open back up, half moon. Ah. Finding your balance, tap and lift back up. Tap and lift back up. 2 more. 2 and 1. Both feet down, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale to bow in. Set your props up to the front of your mat. Hands to the floor, walk back to downward facing dog. Now keep walking your feet back from your down dog so you start to go into what's called a prone handstand. And we're just gonna hold our prone handstand here for 5 cycles of breath. Lengthen your tailbone towards your heels. And maybe keep walking your hands forward if this feels like a pose that's too easy. My mat's a little slippery. If you are sliding too much, put your feet against a wall. Almost there. 2 more cycles of breath. And on 1, lower your forearms, lower your pelvis, and rest. Shift your hips from side to side. Option to add a cobra or a Shalamassana here. Slide your hands next to your rib cage, tuck your toes, and press yourself up and back, downward facing dog. And then we go to the other side. So if your props are too far out of the way, crawl forward, give them a grab. Now your block will go in your right hand or your weight in your right hand. Step your feet as wide as your mat, wide-legged down dog. Inhale, sweep forward, 1 arm plank pose. Exhale back, 1 arm down dog. 2 more. Moving with your breath, inhale to come forward. Exhale to go back. Come forward to your 1 arm plank, open to side plank. Top arm can go over your ear, right hip lifts high. Pick up your right foot and softly step forward. Virabhadrasana 1. This time, you reach for your other prop. Nice full inhale. Exhale, halfway forward, art of Virabhadrasana 1. When you're ready, transition to warrior 3. If it becomes too hard, bring your blocks to your heart. Soft step back, warrior 1. Half warrior 1, sorry. And come forward. 1 more time. Awesome, half moon. Moving your blocks around and maybe falling out. Okay, Can you move your block forward? Can you move your block backwards? Can you switch your arms around? Good, graceful step back, warrior two. Bend your elbows, palms face up with your weights. Dive deep in your warrior two, not gonna be here long. Inhale, straighten through your front leg. Trikonasana, any way you like it. Remember, you don't have to stay in the same position the whole time. Feel free to change it. Now eventually, we'll heel toe that front foot closer, and we'll transition back to half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. Bring your blocks to your heart, step your left foot to meet your right, twisted chair, and back to half moon. And back to twisted chair. This time we'll hold the twisted chair. Hook your left elbow inside your left knee. Open your right leg back. Press up. And then again, lower and lift. Tap and lift. 3 more. 3, 2, and 1. Both feet down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale to bow. Step back, plank pose. And then lower down to forearm plank. You're welcome to grab a block and place it between your hands, or you can interlace your hands together. Bring your feet together to touch. Lengthen your tailbone more towards your heels. And now your upper body stays the same as you rotate your toes and your pelvis to point to the left side of the wall. And then bring them back to center. And then to the right. And back to center. Now add a little hip dip. Right hip goes down, left hip goes up. Switch, dip, and up. Switch, dip, and up. Keep going. Last 2 full cycles. Last 1. And child's pose. Knees down, arms go wide. You can bring your knees together for child's pose, or you're welcome to take your knees apart. Perfect. So it doesn't matter what kind of blocks you have, but you'll need 2. And you'll slide them to shoulder width distance. And how we'll measure that is you can grab your elbows and then place the blocks directly under that position so that they're right in the center of the blocks. Once you have that position, arms go up, make a cage with your hands. So this is really important. We're not going to namaskar because then the elbows want to do this. So if you make this little cage and you push the fingertips into each other, it's easier to squeeze and abduct the elbows together. Now keep them there. As you walk your knees back, your arms will go to straight and your head will drop through. Yeah. You don't have to go your arms to straight if you don't want to. You can keep them bent. And your head goes all the way to the floor. Maybe.
So walk your legs back.
Mm-hmm.
Like a plank.
Stephen's doing the more mellow one. Walk your knees back so that they're directly under your pelvis. It's called Anahata Asana. It's the pose of the heart. But when you do it lifted, there's a bigger stretch. If you want to do Anahata without blocks, totally go for it. Take 3 more breaths. Now, if you can, instead of just going into your flexibility, resist. Push your triceps into the blocks. Notice how the stretch changes. And then when you're ready, walk your knees forward and come up to seated. Set your block. Set one block off to the side. Set the other block to where your left foot would be in front if you were going to do a bridge pose. Now your right foot goes to the outside, come down to your seat. and your left foot goes on your block. So we're gonna do a bigger reverse tabletop. Your fingers can rotate forward towards your glutes, or they can set out to the sides, whatever is your personal preference. Now bring your heart up, shoulders back, push into both feet to lift up, and now bring your right knee up into your chest. Now you're welcome to stay here or extend your heel towards the sky. Option to add pulses. 5, 4, 3, 2, hold on 1, highest point, keep pushing into your heel, and release. So some of you might wonder, why are we doing these on a block? Because that means that more load is being distributed into your arms than if your foot was on the floor. All right, let's do the other side. It's shoulder stretchy stuff, but also strengthening. Right foot on the block, left foot on the floor. Fingers can point towards your glutes or out to the sides. Hard up first, then push into your feet to lift your pelvis. When you're ready, pick up your foot. Your knee can stay bent the whole time. Lift your pelvis higher or extend your left leg. Little pulses. 5, 4, 3, 2, hold on 1. Stay here, keep pushing into your heel. See if you can get your pelvis on the same level as your right knee. And release. Shake out your arms and come down onto your back. Our last shape before Shavasana will be banana pose. So you'll bind your hands, you'll grab onto clasp the elbows and relax them over your head. Now walk your feet over to the left corner of your mat, cross your right ankle over your left. Now crescent the elbow, and you might even use your head to kind of walk and crescent left elbow towards left side of your mat. It's a really subtle crescent shape. You'll feel stretching in the obliques, which we worked a ton of because half moons require them. You'll also feel it possibly in the hip flexor and definitely in your shoulders. One more breath. And then come back to the middle. See how your hands are clasped? Can you switch one? Because now you've switched both. Bring them back down. Walk your feet over to the right. Cross your left ankle over your right. And start to crescent, maybe using your head to worm your way over to the right side. And we just rest here. Soften your face, maybe your gaze, or even close your eyes. One more cycle of breath. And back to center. One last shape of your own choosing that your body is doing the same thing on both sides. Could be bridge, could be happy baby, could be a simple tuck of the knees, a plow pose, candlestick, or shoulder stand, wheel. So any other little movements that you might need, please take them now, right before Shavasana. Remember, for Shavasana, you're welcome to take restorative bridge with a block underneath your sacrum. You're welcome to take legs up the wall. Seated meditation is absolutely and always welcome. So is restorative fish with a block behind your scapulas and another block behind your head, or Supta Baddha Konasana with the soles of the feet together and knees supported by blocks. And the reason why I have you put the blocks underneath the knees, and you can do them, they actually hold at an angle so that your knee is here instead of being pressed at an angle on the side, which I think is also why some yoga blocks have this softened edge. But the reason why we want them to be supported is there's actually a nervous system reaction. So when you just let the knees hover in space, it could actually tighten the pelvis because the nervous system is like, oh my gosh, this section of my body is unsupported, little bit of like a red alert. It feels like you're stretching, but actually could be tightening. So place the blocks underneath so the groin muscles can actually soften. Much better for this particular section of the practice. Once you're there, take a nice full inhale. Open up your mouth, let it all go. We'll do that one more time. Remember the breath practice that we started with. If you find that meditation is very challenging, maybe picture those things that you might need as you inhale and placing the things that you don't down. You're also welcome to look out the window and meditate on nature. Maybe watching the leaves blow in the wind, the blossoms on the trees. Let your inhale bring in the things that you need. Restoration, some peace, stillness. Set down the things you don't on your exhale breath. Allow the muscles in your face to soften. Your throat, the muscles around your skull, your neck. If you wanted to close with the eye relaxation, it's a cupping of your hands over the eyes without putting any pressure on the eyeball, but just pressurizing the outer socket with the outside of the palm of your hand. Sealing off any light, truly letting your eyes relax and rest. I'm so grateful for all of you. Thank you so much for coming and exploring movement practice, breath, and just getting more connected and keeping this community connected. So grateful. So if you have anything that you need, please message me. Otherwise, have a lovely rest of your day. Bye.